it's time to do the final budget review from 2024. So we can go ahead and close out that year and just fully put it in the rear view because it was turbulent. Not that I want to completely forget about 2024. It felt really rough while I was going through it, but it actually brought me to a really beautiful place that I'm at today, which it's still fresh, but either way, it's officially into January. So time to review how I did in December, and I'm actually really happy about some of these numbers, which is so cool. So without further ado, let's get into the spreadsheet. So this is what my budget looks like every month. I do it in Google Sheets just so I have quick, easy access to it from any device at any time. And this is just what works for me. It's what I've been doing since 2016, and this is what's helped me pay off 6 figures of debt at this point, and we got a bunch more to go. I didn't want to say that, but it's the truth. You know, student loans are there, but also it's helped me save the emergency fund that has brought me the most financial peace of mind ever. Like, I just can't recommend budgeting enough. If a spreadsheet doesn't work for you, then certainly find something that does. I'm just lucky that this method has worked for me, so I'm going to keep it going. Now, before I go through my monthly expenses, for anyone that might be new here, there are some things that most people have on their monthly budget that I do not, and that is car insurance and cell phone, and that is because I pay car insurance every 6 months and I pay my cell phone once a year through Mint Mobile. Doing so brings me a discount and it eliminates a monthly bill from my plate, which for me, a lot of my debt journey started from a place where I was absolutely swamped by monthly payments, and monthly payments now give me a lot of anxiety. So I like to keep mine minimal. So when I go through my spreadsheet, I always start at the top, and my income, right now my W-2 income is my largest income. I had an income goal of $650 take-home pay, which is not a lot, but I'm test driving this whole CoastFIRE thing and seeing how it goes. While my monthly living expenses are low, which are coming next, I did not hit my W-2 income goal forever. However, I only brought home $612.51, about $38 shy. I'm not mad about that at all. I have saved and buffered for months of lower income. I knew the winter would be lower income for me. My YouTube income, I knew at the start of the month it was going to be about $319, and it was $318.38, and that is without taxes being taken out. I am, for 2025, going to immediately start deducting taxes from W-2 income or any side work income and having a sinking fund for those. I just haven't talked about it yet because I haven't made my 2025 money goals video yet and what I'm changing about my finances, but I have gotten tax questions lately, so I just wanted to clarify. W-2 income is after tax. Everything else going forward now is pre-tax. And then support is, some people are amazingly generous and choose to support me directly through Venmo or PayPal. I have $0 expectation, but in December, you generous people gifted me with $354.24. Wow. You guys are so amazing. And this month particular was Derek, Carol, and Mark. You guys are just, And Robert coming in heavy with that YouTube income from the super thanks. All of you guys and all of you who just show up and support and encourage, it means so flippin' much. My high yield savings account interest is usually about $120 a month. It's gotten a little skewed in the past few months since I have broken down my savings account into separate vaults. I use SoFi. All of my savings are sitting at 4.0% APY right now. And so I hadn't been collectively calculating them together, but in December I did. And my accounts altogether actually gained $147.63 in interest. And then side work, I had a goal of $600. You guys probably remember in November I did a spending challenge to use side work or gig work, and for me I was using Instacart and Uber Eats and working with my brother to cover my variable expenses or anything that my W-2 income didn't cover. And I did really well with it in November, and I thought I was going to want to continue it in December, which is why I put 600. But to be perfectly honest, I just didn't feel like it. I just fully embraced the December and holidays and family and spent time with my cats and just like full on embraced the holidays. So I actually only made $66.96 from side work. Very, very much short of my goal, but I'm not mad about that at all. Like, I did the challenge in November. It was fun. I was hoping I would keep it moving forward, and I'm not like writing it off completely. Side work and gig work are always going to be there whenever I need to supplement. It just didn't end up making it the priority that I thought I was going to, and that's okay. That's just how it went. Total income of $1,500. All right. Now let's go to the expenses. My rent right now is $500 a month while I am living at my aunt's house. I had a lot of upheaval and moving in 2024, and it all just kind of shoved me back into the direction of moving back to Maine. But since I'm at the point of wanting to purchase a property and get out of the rental market, stop being a renter and worrying about rent rates for apartments that are very, very, very few and far between as it is. My aunt has letting me stay in her very empty, very big house. So thank goodness for her for this time. Again, obviously it's easy to be CoastFIRE or like semi-retired when you're living with family, and that's not sustainable forever for me and probably my aunt too. But it's just, she's amazing and wonderfully welcoming, and there's nothing uncomfortable about this. It's just an uncomfort in my mind that I'm not on my own, and so I don't like it from that sense. I hope that makes sense. But I didn't want to sign up for another rental apartment and be locked into another lease for a year, have to pay to break it early. Like, it just didn't financially make sense just because of my life circumstances at the moment. And so going forward, I am going to try to keep this monthly housing payment when I buy a property, which sounds crazy when you say it out loud like that. But, I mean, you all know if you've been here anyway, so. Sorry about the rant. $500 a month is exactly what I paid. Now, health and dental insurance. I am a contract worker right now, so I don't have employer-sponsored health and dental insurance for the first time in my life. And so this is through the state of Maine healthcare marketplace, and based on my income, it is changing for 2025. It's going up by about $50. But in December, I did pay $42.22 for my health and dental and vision insurance. While I'm at my aunt's, my utility bills are zero. No gas, electric, or internet. She's not charging me for any of those things because, again, she's amazing. And then Mohila is my student loan servicer. They've been on administrative forbearance at the moment. I'm still waiting for Mohila to recalculate what my new monthly payment is going to be going forward. Still haven't gotten that amount yet. And as of now, my account still says first payments are going to be due March 1st. So that deadline has scooted back a little bit from what they thought it would be, but that's the story with student loans over the last 4 or 5 years, I think, anyway. So in December, either way, it was a $0 payment. And then gym was $67. That's what I paid. If there was a $10 Planet Fitness nearby, I would be paying that, but there's not, unfortunately. And then Netflix is $22.99. Food and household. Here is where things normally get a little wishy-washy. In December, like I said, I knew as the month went on that I wasn't feeling that side work. So I definitely must have subconsciously cut back on the spending, because I gotta say, I am quite shocked at what I actually spent. $144.03. I cannot, in the history of my spreadsheeting, remember a time where I spent so little on food and household. And the household's a little bit of a caveat, I'll explain in a minute. But that is so low for me, which is crazy. I honestly thought I calculated it wrong, or I missed a bunch of shit, and I went back into my credit card statements and went through it, and nope, That's accurate. What that tells me is when I know work is low and I'm not wanting to do additional work, I wasn't feeling it, so therefore I must have like subconsciously cut back on my spending as well, which is so cool. And gas and car wash, I budgeted $200, spent $161.52, which is still a lot for gas. I know. I have been driving quite a bit. I always drive quite a bit. Still under budget. I'm so happy about that. And then pet and vet. I budgeted $150, but I actually spent $0. And that's because November was a really heavy pet month. I think I had to buy a second bag of food right at the end of the month. And so, of course, that carried me through December. And then invest. I did not have a goal of investing in December. And I must say, this is investing above and beyond a 401k. I always contribute 5% to a 401k because I have a 5% company match. They match it 100%. So this investing is in addition. I invested $0, which I knew. I did not prioritize investing in 2024 at all. It is absolutely something I'm changing for 2025. So that's going to be in my 2025 goals video as well once I get my head straight and wrapped around it and can share it. Donate, I had a $0 goal, but I actually ended up donating $100. And I'm getting back into donating every month in 2025 as well. And then savings, I had a goal of saving $200. I saved $50, so a little light there. Not the dream. That's a small savings month for me, but not mad about it. I at least saved money, and that's what's important. Spending $300. This is just personal spending, anything that doesn't really fit in a category. And luckily for me, my family, we don't focus on gifts for Christmas. So December is not a higher than normal spending month. We just prioritize getting together to catch up and eating a whole lot of food. I spent $251.74, so about $50 below budget. Some of that spending was actually household items, which technically should have gone in the food and household category, but I kind of just lumped it as like beauty items. $84 of that $250 was my probiotic supplement that I order every 4 to 5 months, but that was a pretty big chunk of that. And then I spent $58 on household things, which is kind of expensive, but I buy those kind of things very infrequently. So that $58 I spent, I loaded up on laundry pods. For me, there are certain things that I am a-okay with spending a little bit more money for, and for me, one of my personal priorities is shopping zero waste, sustainably, environmentally friendly, any way that I can. So I prefer to shop at like zero waste or low waste stores, refill stores, things like that. So these are just refilled Drops laundry pods. I just took this plastic bag in and said, fill her up. This brand, this company is a lot more environmentally friendly, less chemicals and hazardous materials than some conventional laundry soaps. And since I can get it plastic free and just take my own bag in, that's my preference. And I also like got a whole nother, okay, not this one, obviously, this is the empty one, but a mason jar full of body lotion. And it's almost time to refill my jar of body wash. So it is a little bit of a larger price tag for just a few items. Paying more for zero waste, sustainable items, low ingredient items that I feel better about putting on my body, I'm happy to pay a little bit more for. So most of my spending budget this month was just like refilling my beauty and supplement things. And some puzzles. Got some puzzles because puzzles have been taking up a lot of downtime on my weekends. So it's a perfect winter activity if you ask me. A lot of libraries these days actually have puzzles that you can check out at the library too, in case you're curious. And then I had a $0 budget because I was hoping to not spend any other money. But I spent $277.22. That was all on my car. I didn't have to. I renewed my annual Subaru Starlink subscription so I can remote start my car when I'm at the dock in the middle of the night. Sub-freezing temperatures, that's important to me. I also got an oil change and tire rotation, and I had a charge for tolls come out of my account. Total expenses or spending $1,617. So about $117-ish more than I actually made in the month, and that is okay. As I mentioned, I prepared for this. I don't do a zero-based budget. I just keep slush in my checking account, especially from that long trip in October I did to like bolster myself through the winter. Plus, some of that spending was actually to my savings or to a donation. And now, speaking of the savings, that's the next category. You guys know I'm currently saving up for a homestead because, again, trying to get out of our aunt's house. The path forward I see for myself in that regard is getting a homestead and starting that process. So we ended December with $1,234 in the homestead fund. It's a start. It's a great start, actually. We just started this, in November? My emergency fund currently has a $36,000 goal. It's at $36,526. I might be upping that in 2025 as well. We're going to talk about it. Annual expenses sinking fund, and this is to cover those car insurance premiums when they come up and that cell phone bill when it comes up. I always say that, but I always end up just paying for it out of pocket, usually when it comes up. But if I need it, I have a sinking fund for that, which the annual expenses is at $2,030. Car, vet, and medical sinking fund, same thing. It's at $2,021. And then my fund, which I'll be using in 2025 because I'm turning 40 and that means fun. 40 means fun. So I'm going to do something fun for myself. But that account is at $2,014. And so, of course, these are all just growing passively with interest at this point. Yay. And then debt, those student loans. There they are. I am super happy with these numbers this month. I still cannot believe that food budget. Like, how did I spend so little? I don't know. It must have been the Christmas and leftovers, I guess. I don't know. That makes me so happy. Despite having less income than I did outgoing, I still was able to save money. I didn't dip into my emergency fund. I didn't need to pull from sinking funds. My life didn't implode, you know? I don't know. Whatever. I'm happy about it. Now, we're gonna jump over to the whole year at a glance page because why not, right? We gotta round out the year looking at the big picture. Here is my whole year in one spreadsheet. And this, honestly, if you haven't seen this before, just real quick, this is where I track my incomes. This is where I track my rental properties incoming and outgoing, which that will be leaving for 2025 because no thanks. Whoops, did not mean to do that. And then this section is just where I track all of my bills as they're paid. I just mark them off as paid. And then, of course, down here we have all of the assets and liabilities to our financial balance and net worth calculation. The end of 2023 into the start of 2024 is where my net worth finally became positive, as you can probably kind of infer from the graph here. As it got close to positive for like the first time in my adult life, that's when it got exciting. And it's still exciting for me. It's just, I mean, it's kind of hard to look at in the moment because look at December. That's not funny, but man, with the rental property repairs that have had to be done over the last month, it's really taken its toll on my net worth. Emergency fund savings I have for the rental property sitting aside. The repairs are eating into that. It's not my personal emergency fund. And so that does suck a little bit. My assets improved by a whopping $1,000. Again, because of the rental property. It's fine though. Like, despite that, things are still going in the right direction. My 401k, it kind of petered off in the middle there. March, April, May, those few months where I was on unemployment and wasn't contributing, they still had a little growth. And then new job, like the contributions I'm making now are certainly a lot smaller just because my paychecks coming in are a lot smaller. But you know, it's up and down, but overall an upward trend. And same with my savings and savings growth. My health savings account and my Roth, those are two things that I want to bring back focus on in 2025 and actually get back to contributing to those. I've only been to the doctor once since I have this new like health state marketplace health insurance. And I got a pretty decent sized bill afterwards, which I expect every time I'm going to need care on this kind of insurance. And so I do want to get back to beefing up that HSA. And again, I'm going to talk more about that in my 2025 goals. There's really nothing specific I wanted to focus on here other than 2024 sucked. These 3 orange months right here, February, March, April, represent income from unemployment, which was the first time in my life I've ever needed that. And just all of the moving, I depleted my savings accounts for moving costs and deposits on new apartment, and then having to break that lease early because I wasn't making enough money. Like, so many financial drains this past year. And despite that, including the rental property right now, or at the very end of the year, despite that, like, I'm still in the green. I'm still saving every month, and I'm still, you know, trying to do those positive habits. And again, 2025, I'm bringing back more of them, investing, although it's not going to be ever again probably my top priority. It still does, I think, need to be a priority in a healthy, balanced financial system. I do want to start focusing on it again. I guess it's a happy end to 2024. Not I guess. It totally is, mentally. Financially. Yeah, okay, it's marginally a happy end to 2024. Mentally, oof, exponentially greater happiness at the end of 2024 than the beginning and all of the middle. It sucked, but it led to such a great outcome and such a great place where I am now. So yay. Yay to 2025 and going forward. I am super happy with how December turned out. That food and grocery budget, I blow that budget every flipping month. I have no idea how it was so low. I'm so excited. I know everyone's Decembers are going to look wildly different though, so please feel free to let me know down in the comments how your December was. Was it really expensive? Was it lower than expected? Did you and your family make any changes to maybe kind of accommodate less financial obligation around the holiday time? I would love to hear about it if you want to share. We can all maybe garner some inspiration from that for next year or for wherever. Gift giving in general or time with family in general. Definitely let us know down in the comments. Thank you guys for being here, for supporting me so hugely in December and all of 2024. I appreciate you guys more than I can ever say. I will see you again very, very soon.